you know Watford haven't won a home game since April? So
yeah.
I suppose no better side to turn up than spineless Man United, who a couple of weeks ago everybody was lauding because they had a couple of results.
Well, they beat City, they beat Spurs, didn't they?
But my point is that's where the standards have dropped to, that they have a couple of wins, which were good wins, I'll give you that. But all of a sudden, the tide has turned. What utter nonsense. This is a team that struggles against teams that are organised, that sit in, have less possession. I've said that till the cows come home. Where they've had success is against the cities and the bigger teams that have pressed them and they've hit them on the counter over the top. But here's the deal. Most teams in the Premier League aren't playing that way.
Right.
You know, we know the Premier League beneath the top few are pretty weak. So when United play most of the other teams, you know, the Villas and the Watfords and the Newcastles and teams like that, it's a sit-in job and you've got to break them down. And here's a sad state of affairs. At this current time, Man United, one of the biggest clubs in the world, do not have the guile or cuteness or ability and their playing staff to break these teams down. That's where Manchester United are, unfortunately.
And this goes to Ollie's door, doesn't it? This is where the problem is.
Look,
you don't have the tactical nous to sort it out. Is it that simple?
I think it's and I've said this before, and I feel as if I'm just going over it, but it's a little bit of everything. It's a bit of the manager. It's a lot of the manager. It's a lot of the playing staff. It's a lot of the recruitment. It's a bit like Arsenal in a sense. It's not just one issue, because a top-notch manager coming into United isn't going to turn this squad around. He might get some better results, but isn't going to turn them around. They're lacking in really, really a lot of areas. I mean, I look at the left-back, I look at Luke Shaw, who I've always thought was a very good player. I look at the size of him and I think, goodness me, he's become, and I know he's had some bad injuries, but he looks so immobile. You've got De Gea's confidence is struggling now a little bit, playing with so many poor players. They're lacking a central midfielder. McTominay's got too much on his plate. Fred's not good enough long-term for them. Whether Pogba can come in and play the 10 role with that guile remains to be seen, because his mind's elsewhere. And they need a striker. So it's widespread at United. So you shouldn't be surprised at the fact they go to Watford, struggle and lose.
Shaka, obviously I want to talk to you about De Gea, because we're doing Team of the Decade at the moment.
Oh, he was in it.
And most has got De Gea in it.
Somebody pointed that out.
Obviously you don't just write him off for this.
Well, he's got 8 years and then maybe 2 FA ones.
Yeah.
What happened?
Honestly, I watch this over and over and I cannot explain. Now, the easy answer is Sarr hits it into the ground and the ball's spinning and he misreads the flight. But the truth is, the more I watch it, the more confused I got by it. Because De Gea didn't get his hands on the ball at all. It went, his hands come up and it goes through this gap and hits
You know
him in the
better
head.
than me. You know better than me this situation. I was the same. I'm thinking, did he think it was going to bounce higher, and in his mind he was going to punch it over the bar and then change his mind?
I think he's thinking, what's my next move here? Who do I release?
Save it.
Well,
I know what you mean.
This is me, right? Who's going to be bombing forward?
Yes.
So I'm going to catch this and send somebody away on a counter-attack. But again, I am guessing here because it misses his hands by so much, or the middle of his hands by so much. That is not what you'd expect from a goalkeeper in any
He's not a top 10 goalkeeper
division
anymore, is he?
No.
Well, his confidence is down.
Not right now. If you ask me to do a top 10 in the world, I think he gets in because we know how good he can be, not how good he has been of late.
But you know, what you've got to understand as well is that everybody's confidence takes a knock. And this guy's played in a poor United team now for quite a while. Don't forget, he carried this United side. I can't remember the years it was, but it was after Fergie. He had a bad time at the start. Then he came great. Fergie left. They were woeful. He was making unbelievable saves. He was carrying this team basically to whatever it was they got at that particular time. Then he hit a patch. He got pelters in the Spanish newspapers for his international performances. And I think there's a little snowball effect here rolling on, because his confidence is drained and he's not getting the protection he once was. And he's making mistakes. But let me tell you, he's far from their biggest problem. Yeah. Far from it.
Their biggest problem is, in my mind, this is a Manchester United team that losing doesn't matter. Right. It's against City, against Spurs, with something to prove with Mourinho. You see the best of them. But every other time, losing doesn't matter to this bunch.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.